Whoa! Whoops! I should turn the light on, shouldn't I? Ah, what an amateur. There we go. I actually have a studio light right there. Big old thing. Generates a ton of light, although as you can see, sometimes it doesn't work if I leave a shadow on the green screen there. Actually, that kind of bothers me. Let's try and fix that, shall we? Because I see why it's doing it. Whoops, wrong direction. There we go. And then we just lower this to 20, and we're good. Perfect. Alright. So, as ever, I have stuff to discuss before we even start. You guys know how I do this. So, I don't know how long I'm going to stream tonight. I don't want to stream too long. I do need to sleep. But we need to get through Heart of the Swarm basically tomorrow. So I wanted to at least, bare minimum, do my intro spiel here. So, let's talk about Flashpoint. Flashpoint is the book that I recommend most often when it comes to Starcraft 2. It's the one that happens between Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm, and it's pretty much flat-out required. It's pretty late. I guess it isn't that late. It's only 11. Or excuse me, no, it's midnight my time. Hang on. Why do I have Raynor as my guy? That's not cool. Where's my... I should have a different portrait. Why don't we use Star Party? I don't know why I'm using that. The Spear of Adun. Oh, the Zelnaga one. We'll use the Zelnaga one. How's that sound? What do you think, guys? No? 15 years Protoss, maybe? No. The Banshee Queen? I got lots of options here. A bunch of these ones down here for achievements I've actually earned. Purifier. Oh, there's a bunch of options. Let's go and use one of these ones. We'll use the Zelnaga. I like the Zelnaga one. There we go. I am now evil, guys. Wait, don't take that out of context. Flashpoint happens, like I said, between Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm. Now, there's a lot of things that are relevant to cover in it, but I'm going to try and boil them down to their most significant baseline. First of all, remember how I mentioned how Kerrigan may or may not actually remember the details of what happened when she was the Queen of Blades? This is one of the reasons why this is true. In Flashpoint, it's made clear that it's not clear at all as to whether or not she remembers things. Like, we genuinely do not know. We don't know if she fully remembers everything. We don't know if she has vague impressions of memories. We don't know if she remembers everything or nothing. We don't know. If you were to ask my opinion on the matter, I imagine she has at least vague impressions of what the Queen of Blades did, but no actual memory, since Kerrigan wasn't actually active during that entire time. In fact, the only time we ever see Kerrigan active throughout the course of her tenure as the Queen of Blades is 3 times. Once on Char, when she spares Raynor, once on Korhal, where she spares Raynor, and once on Char again, just now, where she encourages Raynor not to give up. And that's it. Those are the only 3 times Kerrigan actually surfaces underneath the Queen of Blades. Now, let me go ahead and say that I am one of those weird people who actually really likes the fact that they made Kerrigan and the Queen of Blades separate people. I know that's a contentious opinion, but I'm just tossing it out as my preference. I'm not saying it's superior. I'm not saying it's better or worse or good writing or bad writing or anything. I just like the idea better, partially because it makes a degree more sense. Partially because it means there was no corruption story. I kind of get sick of corruption stories from Blizzard at this point in time. But also because it allows for the possibility of Kerrigan to go forward, to have a storyline. Because the alternative is to have a Kerrigan redemption story, which, I mean, if Kerrigan was actually the Queen of Blades, do you think there is redemption possible at that point? And I mean, not to bash Blizzard, because I love their storytelling, but every now and again they piss me off. So imagine Grom and his redemption that happened in Warlords, except applied to Kerrigan if she was actually the Queen of Blades, and you can see why that would piss me off. The other thing I like about it is it allows them to basically make a new character with Kerrigan and to have a new character arc with her. They could explore different possibilities with the survivor Kerrigan rather than the struggling with what she did, Kerrigan, the redeemed Kerrigan. I'm not saying they couldn't have done some awesome story arcs with the redeemed Kerrigan, by the way. I'm just saying I prefer this one personally. That reminds me, as always, just to put this right at the beginning here, no spoilers, no men. Okay, guys? For those of you who have never seen my stream, that means no mentioning, as in, I don't even want to hear about Legacy of the Void or Fallout 4, both of which come out in 2 days at this point, basically a day and a half. Oh, what'd I do to the green screen? Hang on. What am I doing to the green screen? What? I don't. Now nothing's happening. Whatever. Oh, there it goes. Now it's doing it. What the heck? Why are you doing that? Oh, I see what's happening. Hang on, I can fix that. Just a second. Does she pop a cush? Because there is contradictory evidence on that regard. Actually, that's not correct. We need to do this direction. And then this direction. Why the heck am I suddenly having issues getting proper green screen? It was working great earlier. What has changed? The lighting's the same. And it's just worse all of a sudden. I don't know why. Here, let's try this. That should fix it. Nope, that didn't fix it either. What the crap? There we go. Well, whatever. Now to wig out the green screen again. I should just stop doing that. That's making the green screen wave a bit. Where was I? So, no mentioning. Like I said, this frickin' shadow problem. No mentioning. The second thing, I know you guys, there's a lot of people who don't like Heart of the Swarm. There's a lot of people who don't like Starcraft 2. And that's fine. I get that. I am totally cool with that. I understand. I understand. If you don't like it, that is absolutely understandable. However, I ask that you basically don't be a dick about it. That's really all I ask. If you don't like it, just say, I don't like this, and here's why, ... There's no reason to insult it. There's no reason to be like, well, that's stupid. There's no reason to say, oh, it's just worse in every way. Don't be dismissive and don't be elitist. That's all I ask. I mentioned this at the beginning of Wings of Liberty as well, because Lord knows I've generated a lot of ire while talking about these games. Let's see here. Now, next point of note, if I can find the image, there it is. I guess it's already in position, never mind. Next point of note. So, in the Flashpoint thing, this is when we learned that Kerrigan and the Queen of Blades are two distinctly different people. Thank you, Tracker. By the way, you like my Char background here? It'll take a while to get a good image of Char like this. I'm glad you guys picked up on the ire thing. This is when we learned that Kerrigan and the Queen of Blades are two completely distinct people. So that's a really important note. This is when that is first made clear. This is also when we learned about the truth about Duran. In case it was any question in the games, and I personally don't think it is, I don't think there's any way we could possibly say that Duran and Narud are the different people. In the book, it is laid out very clearly that Narud is Duran. This is also one of the reasons why we know that Mengsk has been working with Narud basically since the beginning. That is also another example of Valerian's character growth. Some people complain that Valerian seemed to grow up just a little bit too fast between the end of Wing Liberty and the beginning of Heart of the Swarm. Remember, there's been a decent chunk of time in between these two games. It doesn't go immediately from one to the next. And all of that is happening in Flashpoint. They actually end up going to I forget the name of the planet, one of the scum planets, to get Kerrigan looked into and checked at. You can do it. Come on, Big J. Come on. While there, they are betrayed, and Valerian has to struggle for himself. He actually gets in a one-on-one fight with several thugs, and a whole bunch of stuff happens. Basically, it helps Valerian to once again see the underbelly, the dirty side of things, and it's mentioned that Valerian gains a degree of perspective while he's there. This is also very important to his character growth. So, remember, he was just kind of the kid who always got straight A's, right up until the Battle of Char, at which point he got smacked in the face as hard as possible by the brutality and horror of just how bad that really is. and then managed a Hail Mary just barely. And then the very next thing that happens is he ends up fleeing to this place and then has to see just how bad the underbelly is, how the, shall we say, the 0% live. So again, like I said, that gives him perspective, and I think that's very, very important because he takes that to heart, and you know, it gives him motivation to try and be a good leader again, as the reasons mentioned before. Now, the next thing that happens is we see the White Star go up against the Bucephalus, which is a fun mission. Valerian actually manages to outmaneuver Minsk in a amusing little strategy. Basically, he sets up a ship on collision course with the impression that he's actually going to suicide bomb Minsk just to prove his ideals. The whole time he's on the comm, routing his comm unit through the Bucephalus. The Bucephalus has actually been abandoned. It was just sending a remote controlling an empty husk at it. The intention being to either destroy the White Star, which is what Minsk is on, or to fake him out. Minsk ends up faking out and retreating, and that enables him the chance to get away. Yeah, Valerian has actually been well trained in martial arts for several years because he's Minsk's son, and so he's been the target of assassins since he was born, basically. Yes, Minsk's command ship is called the White Star. Seriously. The next major event that happens is after significant convincing, Nerud convinces the group, and it is implied there's some mind alteration going on, to go to this one facility. This is about when Kerrigan starts to actually be functional again, and she's just completely flipping out, by the way, as you might imagine. Like I said, it's left up to our interpretation how much she remembers. One of the things I like about that, well, I mean, I like that. I like the fact that it's up to us to decide if she remembers or how. Someone in chat just mentioned something that is basically my idea. Basically that she remembers, but she's trying to block it knowingly or unknowingly so she doesn't have to face the horrors of what she's done. Again, we don't know. It is also possible she genuinely doesn't remember. It's also possible that she only remembers bits and pieces or vague things. She doesn't have concrete memories, because her consciousness was subsumed by the Queen of Blade consciousness. Again, we don't know. Now, so Kerrigan is flipping out, and this is actually when she recognizes, or rather, she doesn't recognize. I'm saying this wrong. As they're going to this facility that Nerud has taken to them, they're like, "Wait a minute, this is a Zelnaga. This is a Zelnaga facility." And then Nerud's like, "Yeah, and you're all screwed." Kerrigan is actually the one who ousts him as a non-human, and he cloaks without any suit or anything. Like most ghosts need an actual suit which interacts with their psionic powers to activate. Basically, their psionic power powers the suit, which causes them to cloak. Even Kerrigan and Nova, who were very powerful ghosts, needed the suit to actually cloak. Nerud just does it. He just again, an indication of how strong he is psionically. And then he just starts taunting them and brings Mengsk there. This is when it's revealed that Nerud has been working with Mengsk basically since the beginning. This is one of the reasons why I mentioned all the things I mentioned with regards to how Mengsk is involved in the hybrid project. Not complacent in the destruction of everything. Hello, Eunice. But complacent in literally giving a blank check to Nerud to do whatever he wants to, because there's so much he could actually use in the hybrid project for his own gain. Again, Mengsk is not stupid. He wants to fight the Protoss, he wants to fight the Zerg, etc. I already talked about this, so I don't want to reiterate too much. Point is, this is where that connection is laid bare, clearly and distinctly. Only a little bit, Deacon. I have my own complaints about the design of the Kerrigan Queen of Blades. Well, the Kerrigan, let's just call her what it is, in Heart of the Swarm, but I don't want to get into that just yet. Now, so after revealing Nerud's treachery, he sells them out to Mengsk, but he literally only does so, and he even admits this, to keep appearances with Mengsk. Because he doesn't really care about Kerrigan anymore. He's already got what he needed from her. The energy, the essence of the Queen of Blades that he extracted with the artifact. So he takes the artifact, he takes the energy, and he's off, and he goes off to resurrect Amon. So good job, guys, we resurrected Amon. Hang on. We did do that, didn't we? We did that in Wings of Liberty. Well, I sure hope we don't do anything in Heart of the Swarm to help the villain's plans. Excuse me. Damn it. I hate it when I've got a crick in my fingernail. So the very next thing they do is they're like, okay, we need to get the hell out of here. Um, their next best bet is to try and just flee on the Hyperion and stay hidden, because at this point, Mengsk has basically geared all of his attention on getting Kerrigan back. Well, we already talked about how Mengsk's big blind spot is his tunnel vision when it comes to revenge. At this point, Mengsk is so focused on revenge that it's quite literally all he's thinking about. He's not even trying to recover his forces back at the Dominion. He's not trying to placate the media. He's not trying to reinforce himself. He is all focused on the anti-Kerrigan offensive. It is actually wonderfully amusing to me because Mengsk, of all people, should probably understand that he is just making the situation worse, but I don't think he can help himself at this point. The Mengsk we've seen many times now looks fairly normal. In fact, it looks like he hasn't aged in several years, and yet we'll see Mengsk at the end of Heart of the Swarm, where he has clearly shown signs of his age. I get the feeling that Mengsk is not doing as well as he has been presenting himself to others, and it's also worth noting that we don't see Mengsk in person particularly often in the Starcraft 2 series, basically until Heart of the Swarm, actually. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Let's talk about Heart of the Swarm's approach. So with Wings of Liberty, it was, you had your units, you had the upgrades, you had the mercenary credits, all those stuff that all worked wonderfully. In Heart of the Swarm, we have the upgrades to the Swarm, which are, they're pretty cool. I like them. I like the ability to choose which type of Zerg unit we're going to get. I like the ability to treat Kerrigan as a hero unit. She's in, I think, every single mission. So we always have Kerrigan. And she is a full tilt hero unit. She has hero ability. She's always higher level and higher stats. You can actually raise her level, which raises her stats throughout the mission. So it was and that makes sense. Again, thematic significance. The heart of the Swarm literally always being present in every single mission as a gameplay way to get across the idea of the story significance of what Kerrigan becomes throughout the course of this game. Now I want to cover a couple things really quick here. Let's talk about the romance thing between Raynor and Kerrigan. Now, of course, I can only give you my theories, but let's look at the facts here for a moment. We have a man and a woman who became very, very close together over the course of several missions in the face of, danger and difficulties, and they worked great together. They were great friends, and there was a definite romantic appeal, and then BAM! She's taken by the Zerg, and she's worse than dead. This is the kind of thing that is, how do I put this? I don't know how to explain this. Let me give you a real-life example. Let's say that you are with someone, romantically, and let's say you are suddenly taken away from them, and you are put in severe duress. You are in a difficult situation, okay? So in this difficult situation, you need something to help you keep going. That's what we do as people. We need something to help us maintain coherence and significance, and we need to keep our morale up, and my green screen is freaking out on me again. What are you doing on me? Whatever. Seriously, why is my green screen screwing up tonight of all times? It's been fine like forever. This is bothering me. Just really? Maybe I should just change shirts and make it easier. I might do that. Anyways, so you're having trouble coping, right? You're having trouble keeping it together, basically. That's a little better. So you need something to cling to. And so you cling to the memory of that person you were with. And the longer it goes on, the more you're going to have problems with, basically romanticizing the person. You're going to get to the point where it's like all you're thinking about is that person, because you're basically going to put them up on a pedestal. You're going to put them up on a pedestal, and it's going to... would you stop, guys? I'm not taking my... I meant I'd go over there and change my shirt. You guys are terrible. You put them up on a pedestal. You're like, okay, I need this thing. And then you just think about all the positives. You just start to idealize them. You just start to put them up there. The other person who's been living a totally normal life has probably basically forgotten about you. And then you go meet them and you're like, oh my God, it's you. And they're like, oh, right, you, I remember you, That kind of thing happens. That's also true in non-romantic situations, by the way. This is very human. Now, the situation with Kerrigan and Rayner is a little different because both of them had dire situations. Both of them had started growing close, both of them had the thing, and then Rayner went off to go through hell for years, and Kerrigan went off to go through hell for years. Both of them reunite when both of them are freed from their respective hells. So it makes perfect sense to me, even if there was not a connection between the two of them before, which there was, as we've already established, that they would grow much, much closer than they otherwise would. It's one of the reasons why it irritates me when people, make fun, or I should say, complain about how Rayner is just, oh, he's just a lovey-dovey twoo, love, and aliens. No, this is a man who has had very little to keep himself going for, and as we discussed back in Wings of Liberty, had nothing to keep him going for other than his revenge for Mengsk, and all of a sudden, Kerrigan, not the Queen of Blades, which he now knows that there's a difference, Kerrigan is dropped into his lap, more or less literally. What do you think that does to a man? Similarly, Kerrigan wakes up, and what's the first thing she sees? Him, literally carrying her out of the alien's maw. Think about that. I would be amazed if these two people did not become immediately attached to each other. So yeah, no, the romance aspect does not bother me, and yes, it makes perfect sense. It's not bad writing. I'm sorry. It isn't. I can prove it. Sorry, it gets on my nerves. I do wish they showed more of this on camera. I do wish we didn't need to read the books to really get the full depths of the story. That is an unfortunate thing, and I'm not going to deny that. But that's what I'm here for, to tell you all this stuff. Next point of note, though, I want to mention here, with regards to the people. Well, see, that's a good question, Titans. We don't actually know. See, we could have a Borg-type situation. In other words, Kerrigan was fully aware and cognizant within the Queen of Blades, but couldn't do anything, had no control over herself. We could have a situation where she was basically unconscious, in a sort of a dreaming state, so barely aware of what's going. Or she could have been completely gone, subsumed, and only, literally, like, the last thing she would have remembered would be being on Tarsonis until she wakes up in the swarm, on Char. That's the one I think is actually the least likely. Which of the former two is more horrifying is up to you. Which do you think would be worse? Occasionally being aware of just how nightmarishly terrible things are? Or being fully and completely cognizant of how terrible things are? It's your choice. Now, let's see. That being said, there is a cutscene which does actually bother me a little bit. Even though it actually makes perfect sense, it's presented just a little bit overdramatically. We'll get there when we get there. Well, yes, that is true, Hero, but that was before the Queen of Blades was fully constructed. That was before her rebirth. Oh, by the way, we do have full confirmation that Abathur is an evil bastard. Except he's not evil at all. As I mentioned before, Abathur lacks the capacity for evil. He is simply completely amoral. For the record, I like Abathur as a character. So it's up to you guys. What do you think with regards to Kerrigan's existence? But regardless, I want to at least get the first mission in here. One other thing I want to talk about here, Heart of the Swarm, which I think they did very, very well. They, in my opinion, in StarCraft 2, the Zerg actually feel like the Swarm, especially in the campaign missions, as opposed to in StarCraft 1, where they felt like, well, they felt like another race, basically. I mean, the gameplay style of the Zerg versus the Terrans and the Protoss was definitely different, but in StarCraft 2, they feel like the Swarm, and I like that. So I suppose we'll go ahead and do this. You guys want me on casual, so we're going to do casual. This is going to be ridiculous. Heart of the Swarm in general is much easier than Wings of Liberty. So first we have to have the awesome, awesome opening cutscene.
Armies will be shattered. Worlds will burn.
I love this section. This is what an Ultralisk is like in lore, by the way.
Now at last, on this world, vengeance.
And this is how big a battlecruiser really is, by the way.
For I am the Queen of Blades.
So yeah, we'll be picking up things in the Emotion Protectorate. There was actually supposed to be several additional missions in the Emotion Protectorate in this expansion, which were cut due to time constraints. So let's talk about the one thing there. Obviously, that mission just is awesome all over the place. We get to see kind of what the Swarm is like in lore. We get to see what an Ultralisk can really do. We can get to see this full length and depth of the Leviathan. We get to, this is probably our only shot at what a Minotaur, the battlecruiser's actual strength is like, etc. But an interesting point, there is a good question if that was a dream or a vision of the future, because that was clearly the primal queen. And you can kind of feel the fact that they specifically toppled the statue of Mengsk rather than just destroying the entire world, as arguably the Queen of Blades herself would have done, kind of makes me wonder that was actually a vision of the future, since we do actually invade Augustgrad and we do kind of wipe out everything with the Swarm, except for the civilians, of course. But anyways, I also like that because it adds more to the character development if she is seeing a vision of the future, thinking, oh God, what kind of terrible things might I do, could I do in the future? And of course, she absolutely does not want to do so. It gives her further motivation to not want to control the Swarm. In fact, it's actually brilliantly ironic because Mengsk himself gives her the motivation to control the Swarm, which is what causes her to bring him down. I'm telling you, if he could let things go, things would go so much better for Mengsk. So, lovely, lovely cutscene. And again, it's up to us to decide if that was a dream or a vision. Both work, really. It could be a dream. It could be just generically her conquering Augustgrad and, thinking about being the queen again. Or it could be a vision, like I said. I didn't see a Thor in that. Someone mentioned that there might be a Thor in that cinematic cutscene. I didn't actually see one. I was actually looking for one, so, yeah. Yes, by the way, that was a Wilhelm scream. Part of one, anyways. Good night, Rosulia. I trust Valerian more than I trust most people in the Starcraft setting, who are Terran. I should clarify that. So at this point in time, Kerrigan is a hybrid. What she is a hybrid of is admittedly up to debate. I've already given my big theory on this, based on the evidence of what happened at the end of Wings of Liberty. In other words, as of this moment in time, she is a human hybrid, and all that entails. It also would explain why her power level quite literally goes through the roof throughout the course of this campaign. Oh, he's definitely an improvement over his father. We'll see how it works out long term. I really hope we see more of Valerian in the next thing. So, ah, Warfield. 'Cause, 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 No, Razulia.
Open the door, son.
Valerian's orders, sir. No visiting.
Open the door.
Note that these are Emotion troops, which notably have more advanced power armor and whatnot. We get many hints that the Emotions are much more technologically advanced than everyone else. This is no exception to that. Correct, Tom, and the comics. Correct, Tracker.
Good morning, Commander.
Junior.
Gentlemen, the test protocol will begin in 2 minutes.
It is worth noting Kerrigan willingly agreed to these tests, by the way. She's not being held here against her will.
Make the most of this test.
It's your last one.
Now give us a minute.
Very well.
We're getting out of here tonight, darling.
Good. Then we can go after Minsk.
Forget Minsk. Forget all of it. This is about you and me.
Until Minsk is dead, there can't be a you and me.
I moved heaven and earth to bring you back, Sarah.
I can't watch you throw that away just for revenge.
Initiating test phase 2.
I never gave up on you, Sarah.
Don't you give up on us!
I like that quote, by the way. See, the wonderful thing here is there's a beautiful symmetry to Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm. In Wings of Liberty, we saw Raynor go from his worst to his best, redeeming himself and finding his heart and his hope again, and being able to choose,
Test phase 2
choosing
commencing.
his fate, making a decision for arguably the first time in many times, or for many years. In Heart of the Swarm, we see the exact same thing go through with regards to Kerrigan.
I told you, I don't remember anything about being the Queen of Blades.
We have to find out how much of the Zerg mutagen is left in your system. I appreciate your cooperation, Kerrigan.
Do you usually keep cooperative people in a containment cell?
When we know it's safe, I'll unlock your door myself. Now, can you reach out with your mind? Do you sense it?
Yep. A drone.
A drone? Are you really asking me to take control of a Zerg mind? Do you know what could happen?
All the test subjects are in a secure environment.
So, hang on. I'm sorry. I gotta finish my sentence. I love the idea that Kerrigan's arc goes from the exact same thing that Raynor just go through. It's funny because if not for Raynor, I don't think she would actually go through the same arc. I think Raynor was saved because of the people who were around him. If it wasn't for Tychus, if it wasn't for Horner, if it wasn't for Hansen, if it wasn't for Valerian, if it wasn't for Tosh, Raynor would have probably descended and either become another Minsk or basically just given up and killed himself. Kerrigan now has to go through the same arc. She's at rock bottom, just like Raynor was at the beginning of Wings of Liberty. And she needs someone to help her keep going. And I hate to spoil too much, but right when she actually needs someone to be there for her, that someone is taken away from her. Now, he is then reintroduced to her. Notice her arc is like a continuous descent into darkness right up until she finds out Raynor's back alive. And for the same reason that Raynor had a reason to care again once he realized he might save Kerrigan, he finally starts actually turning himself around. That's the same thing that happens to Kerrigan. When she realizes she might still have him, she then starts to turn around as well, and both characters do finally complete their arcs, complete their vengeance, and the end of Heart of the Swarm happens, and now we're ready to go with Legacy of the Void. I love the symmetry between Heart of the Swarm and Wings of Liberty. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry, guys. As far as the books, I saw that question really quick. Most of the books and the comics are good. Avoid the Jake Ramsey books. They're terrible. They're They're fan fiction Mary Sue crap, and I don't like them at all. I know there's a lot of books about Jake Ramsey. Kerrigan's eyes, right? So, okay, let's talk about the hybrid thing really quick. Remember that the device which depowered her removed all Zerg DNA, all pure Zerg. All of the actual Zerg within the radius were wiped out, exactly like what happened on Shakuras. So Kerrigan is still left, and yet she is not fully human. So we have two options here. Number one, she has been so fundamentally altered that she simply is not human anymore. Now, she might not be a hybrid of anything, she might be a completely unique being, but all of the Zerg aspects of her have been erased, and the energy, all of the actual energy that was the tremendous power of the Queen of Blades, has been removed. That's actually relevant because that's the energy that was used to go resurrect Aemon. I already mentioned that. We already talked about that. Moving on. So it is possible that she's a completely new being. My personal thoughts on it, after everything that happened, especially with Duran's manipulation and Abathur's particular reconstruction of her, she was basically created to be a stepping stool to the real hybrids. So in other words, Protoss and Zerg combination techniques were used to then combine with human. A and B were then combined with C in order to make the Queen of Blades, which makes a lot of sense because of the eye glow, because of the fact that she has that unique eye glow that the hybrids themselves had. It also explains why she was so damned powerful and had so much influence. It would also partially explain why she was immune to the blast, more or less completely immune to the blast. It would also explain several other things, but that's why I adhere to that idea, that theory. That there is basically, and I want to stress, it is hybrid DNA, not Protoss DNA, not Zerg DNA. Hybrid DNA. It is a separate thing. Now, I like this first scene because the first thing Kerrigan is like, you really want me to take control of a Zerg? Are you stupid? They never say it outright, but the implication is basically, you really are risking the fact that I might re-become the Queen of Blades. Now, of course, we know that's not going to happen. It's actually not possible. The Queen of Blades is, for all intents and purposes, gone at this point. But she doesn't know that. They don't know that. So this is awesome. Thank you, Sigma. Believe it or not, Sigma, the thing I worry about most on my channel, I'm not kidding about this. The thing I worry about most is I feel like I have nothing to say. I really feel like I'm just sharing nothing. And I always worry that I'm just boring the crap out of you guys as I pontificate. So it's nice to hear that. Thanks, man. So we know, for example, exactly how Kerrigan cannot become the Queen of Blades again, but Kerrigan nevertheless realizes in this situation this is a great time to actually specifically teach Valerian a lesson. By the way, this is the other reason I feel like Kerrigan is not a bad person, despite her revenge focus, despite the fact that she's basically at one of her lowest spots here. I love the fact... Yes, actually, anyone with significant psionic power could chaos. That's all they needed. Nova could have been. That's it. I can't think of any other 10s, but yeah. So, she wanted to show Valerian that you cannot simply control the Zerg. Now, you might be asking, well, what the heck are these people doing with the Zerg? Why are the Omosians? Why is Valerian experimenting with the Zerg? Believe it or not, this is actually really fun storytelling in my opinion, because the implication is we're trying to control the Zerg. You remember when the Confederacy was starting that all the way back in the original Starcraft, how the Confederacy was trying to control the Zerg and failing miserably? That is not what Valerian and the Omosians are doing. They're smarter than that. And, bravo, because they should be smarter than that. You can't frickin' control the Zerg, not externally. You can't put a leash on a tornado. It doesn't work. What they are trying to do is they're trying to understand the Zerg. They're trying to understand Kerrigan. They still don't know what Kerrigan is. By the way, I just like to say, I'm sorry. It is such a huge relief that I finally don't have to keep mentally correcting myself to saying Queen of Blades. You guys have no idea how much of a strain it's been the last week. Constantly changing the term Kerrigan to the term Queen of Blades. I kept screwing up, too. I kept going, Kerrigan, I mean the Queen of Blades. Kerrigan, I mean the Queen of Blades. I can finally just say Kerrigan because she's actually Kerrigan again. Thank you, Blizzard, for making me not say Queen of Blades every frickin' time. Moving on. So, yeah, they're trying to see how much control she has. They're trying to see what she can do. They're trying to see what she is. And most importantly, they're trying to come up with a new weapon just in case the Zerg are a threat in the future. It is worth noting that most people consider the Zerg threat to be completely over at this point in time, which I find hilarious because... it is actually very, very feasible that once the hybrid project was completed, the hybrids can take control of the swarm, because we've seen that as a possibility. and then the swarm is a problem again. So, whoops. So, if funny fact, you know how the big thing is how Kerrigan was able to interrupt Amon's plan. Oh yeah, the UED tried to control them too. That also didn't work out. If not for Kerrigan, this is so ironic if you think about it. Because if Mengsk had left well enough alone, Kerrigan probably would have been eventually dissuaded out of going after him. Remember how she was acting. Raynor's whole statement, I never gave up on you, which is true. Never once did Raynor actually give up on her. Not for a second. And he moved heaven and earth to save her, and that's also true. He went through hell and back to get her out of there, and she knows what he's gone through because at this point he shared the stories with her. She knows what he has done for her, and she wants little better than to just give all this crap up and go be with him, but she can't let go of the pain and rage because, again, no matter how much she remembered of the Queen of Blades, her last strong memory as Kerrigan was being fed to the Zerg by Mengsk. So, she can't let go of revenge. If she did, well, then what would happen is the hybrids would show up, take control of the swarm, and win. So what happens is Mengsk comes in and pushes her by kidnapping Raynor, we'll talk about that later, and then convinces her as a result to take control of the swarm so she can get revenge on Mengsk. Mengsk pushes Kerrigan to save the galaxy. I love that. Anyways, yeah, the UED was very close. I talked about that back in Brood War. It's very reasonable, I think, how that worked. Let's try and go get through this mission. What time is it? I know it's getting late. Oh, jeez. I think I might just do this mission and call it for the night, and then as soon as I wake up tomorrow, we'll keep going and try to finish all of Heart tomorrow. So, okay, yeah, again, the point that's trying to be made here in addendum is that. When he died and said thank you, is that Kerrigan is trying to prove to... I'm still trying to correct myself from Kerrigan to Queen of Blades and Slayers. Kerrigan was trying to prove to Valerian that this is foolishness. Remember, Valerian has already had a decent amount of growing up because of the events of the Overcharm, because of the events in the book in between. This is a good example to show Valerian that he cannot fall into the arrogance trap. This is hilarious to me, by the way. This mission is so important. What is one of those big themes we keep talking about throughout all of StarCraft? In the original, in Brood War, in Wings of Liberty, is hubris. We see it all over the place. It's everywhere. So many of the characters fall victim to hubris. Valerian was falling victim to hubris until Char. And then here he's like, okay, but now we have it under control. And then Kerrigan teaches us, no, just because it's not some big, doomy thing does not mean you have it under control. Yes, doomy, that's a literal word. You can look it up in the dictionary. Deacon uses it all the time. He's the best kobold ever. And I will, Chaos, don't worry. And so at this point he's relaxed. You know? It's like, imagine if you've survived a tsunami and you're like, oh, thank God. But you're actually on a plank of wood out at the ocean. It may be less of a threat, but it is still a threat. And that is what the lesson that Kerrigan teaches him here. It's not just humility, it's teaching him that he can't let down his guard. And it's a very important lesson that I think he takes to heart, and we will see that throughout the course of the campaign. It is a shame most of Valerian's character growth actually happens off-screen, but they do at least showcase several of the ways in which he grows, so that when we get to the end of Heart of the Swarm, he has grown as a character, and we have hopes. I have hopes that he actually becomes a... I told you it was in the dictionary. You guys didn't believe me. You actually didn't believe me. Screw you guys. No, it's in the dictionary, guys. So yeah, he has grown as a character, so we have hope that he'll be a good emperor. Let's get on with this.
Okay, the next step. See if you can order the drone to mutate into a hatchery.
Never. Oh, there we go. I like how I can instantly tell the speed's wrong.
On the drone's command card, left click on the basic mutation button.
Yeah, let's try to go as much of a circle as we can. Around the circle. Oh no, I'm on the inside. Yeah.
On the drone's command
Okay,
card.
fine. I know how to do this. I've played Zerg before.
A hatchery is the central structure of a Zerg base. It spreads creep so that other structures can be built. The hatchery also produces lava, which you use to morph into more drones.
I also feel like pointing out something here while she's yammering about the tutorial. Look at the graphical aesthetic of the emotion base. It all screams, once again, the technologically advanced nature of the emotions. It feels very cold, very pristine, very advanced, as opposed to the much more lived-in, kind of down-to-earth, used kind of look that most of the Dominion technology has. I like the variants, and I really hope we get to see more of the Protectorate in the future.
Creatures. When you use lava, the hatchery will replenish them over time.
Okay, Kerrigan. I'm releasing more drones into the test chamber. See if you can order them to gather those resources.
Die, drones! Die! Die! Die, drones! Yeah, exactly. The Hyperion just had this huge jury-rigged look going on. But look at this place. Also, I like the fact that Valerian's actually right there, watching. Me too, Samurai. It does feel very sterile, which makes it even funnier when they actually ask us to build creep on top of it. But look, Aded! I'm trying to trigger a cutscene that usually doesn't play, actually. And I'm trying to remember if I could do it properly here. Oh, shoot, I've already screwed it up. Hang on, okay. Okay, hang on. So he's at 5. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Ah, damn it. 1 health left. Oh well, screw it. Basically, he yells at you if you lose your units and screw up. Yeah, just think of the flame jets that sterilize this place.
Not enough minerals.
Whoops. Whoops. It's just... Oh well, I failed. There's a bunch of little Easter eggs all over the place you can get, like that. So who out there likes the Zerg aesthetic in Starcraft 2? Oh my god, yeah, I think we're gonna do exactly that. Where is that? R. Yeah, we'll just do this. Valerian's like, Kerrigan? You, Let's try this again, shall we? Yeah, come on.
Okay.
Let me build.
See if you can order the drone to mutate into a hatchery.
Fair enough. I am very fond of the Blizzard aesthetic in general. I always have been. Pretty much since Warcraft 2, when they first invented the Blizzard aesthetic.
It spreads creep so that other structures can be built. The hatchery also produces lava, which you use to morph into more drones or other Zerg creatures.
I admittedly am kind of grossed out by a lot of the buildings in StarCraft 2 of the Zerg, but I really like the units.
Okay, Kerrigan. I'm releasing more drones into the test chamber.
Go.
See if you can order them to gather those resources.
Okay, go. But balance! Zerglings must be weak and terrible and cheap. Or build virtually instantly if you get that particular upgrade. Pax has tried playing through this with that upgrade, and it's funny.
You're doing well, Kerrigan. Can you morph more drones?
I need an overlord to morph anything else.
Do it then. One overlord shouldn't hurt.
The arrogance! I love
The
it.
Zerg use overlords to generate more supply. Your current supply maximum is displayed in the upper right corner.
Okay, Adjutant, I've played StarCraft before. I swear, you don't have to tutorialize
If you
me.
do not have enough available supply, you will not be able to morph a unit.
Seriously. Play the game before, I swear. On hard. And on brutal. Battle cruiser operation.
Excellent. I plan to stop here, but let's take this a little further. Try mutating a drone into a spawning pool.
To mutate a Zerg structure, first, left-click basic mutation on the command card. Left-click basic mutation on the command card.
I'm gonna smack you, Adjutant. And you're not a person, so it's okay.
The spawning pool allows the hatchery.
Yeah, by the way,
lava
I did this
to
on
Zerglings.
purpose. Hey, Valerian. Hey, buddy.
You know this is going to end badly, right?
Hey. What's up, buddy?
We have a controlled environment.
Hi. Hey. I'm telling you, you don't
The
put a
spawning
leash on
pool
a
is
tornado.
finished. You should go down to the test chamber and inspect it.
Gross.
I can see just fine from up here, thanks. I think that's all we need today, Kerrigan. Great work.
If you think that was great work, wait till you see this. I'll make some Zerglings.
So, fun fact. Some people are like, how does she have the ability to make all these units here? Actually,
Zerglings,
oh, shut
left-click
up!
on the select lava button on the command card.
she, hang on. We gotta get her. We need to make sure Valerian can't see what we're doing. Hey, buddy.
To create Zerglings,
Hey, buddy.
left-click on the select lava button on the command
Shut up.
Not enough minerals. Now left-click on the Morph to Zergling button on the command card.
I'm totally gonna do this. And then immediately cancel it.
Kerrigan, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Putting your controlled environment to the test.
Not enough minerals.
Lol. Oh, that's a good point. Let's go send the drones after the adjutant. Yeah, you get tons of frickin' larvae in the campaign. It's kind of disorienting, honestly. Of course, they also get rid of the queen egging on the hatchery thing, so that's kind of a thing. All right. We got it! Wait, what? Okay, now what? Okay, fine. I'll make a Zergling. God damn it. If it wasn't for the Enforced tutorial, I swear to God. Hey, I've beaten the last mission of this game with drones. You guys are my witness. Because I did that on stream. Oh, I need to make more Zerglings. That's a problem. Hang on. One more should do it. There we go. We're good. I gotta screw around at least a little bit. Just a little bit. I have to. It's required by law, and also I'm tired, and therefore kind of silly. There we go! 5 little overlords. Oh, sorry.
Stop!
Where's my
I
overlords?
asked you to create Zerglings.
Funny thing about Zerg, Valerian, they never do what you expect.
Shut down the experiment. Get sentry bots in there to sanitize those holding cells. Lock down on the sublevel and power up the Eradicator. Nothing gets out!
Maybe if I destroy your pretty Eradicator, you'll learn you can't control the Zerg. Those sentry bots are destroying the Zerglings in their pens. I can change that.
Can you now? Let's see how the drone army does! She is teaching him a very hard lesson here. Some argue that she's being a little
I
harsh.
sense more Zerglings in holding pens. Valerian, you were very careless. Perhaps I'll free them too.
Containment breach. Zerg specimens free.
Evacuate the scientists. Get all personnel out of there.
Drone army.
Our drones are under attack.
Drone army.
More Zerglings. Good. I can use them.
I just picture them like, oh no, she's attacking with an army of drones.
Kerrigan, call off your drones. You're attacking with drones.
Yes!
Kerrigan, this is not a game.
There we go.
It never is with the Zerg.
That's the line I wanted right there. Kerrigan, call off your drones. You're attacking with drones. I love that. That's why I was doing that, guys. I wasn't just doing it to be funny. I really wanted you to hear that. How many of you didn't know that was there? Honestly.
Not enough minerals.
Oh, right. We don't have any minerals. Yeah, screw it.
Zerg, run!
Dude, we're not going to kill anybody.
Get all personnel off that level.
Fun fact, you actually can't attack personnel.
No more personnel remain on sublevel.
It's all out of control.
Yep.
Containment door closed. Automated gas defense activated.
That containment door won't open until I destroy those turrets.
Who are you talking to, Kerrigan? Dude, you guys have seen me use drone strats before. This is nothing new to me.
The door's open. Now to destroy the Eradicator.
The drones are like, you're in the wrong side of town, boy. Really? Gosh, you guys have. When Heart of the Storm first came out, I did a stream about it.
Zerglings here.
This is a while ago,
Well,
back before I was
they're
as big as I
mine
am
now.
now. She is conspiring, Lurker. With the drones! Yeah, seriously, who does the designs of this place? Funnily enough, this mission is a complete cakewalk if you're actually using the damn Zerglings. No. Focus fire. I don't want to lose my drones. That would make me sad. You have to do the focus fire thing with drones, otherwise they won't do enough damage quickly enough before they're wiped out. And I just screwed up, so I might be in a bad way here. It actually does, Deacon. I like to think of this as the actual canon way this is going. Rather than the Zerglings. The Zerglings, she's just like, Zerglings, everyone?
Make your point, Kerrigan.
Just chill.
Not yet, I haven't. I'm still in your containment cell.
Eradicator activated.
Alright, we might not be able to do the boss with the drones because I have so few of them. We're gonna do our best. I think we got this. Yeah, we got this. Circle him, my minions! Fill the dead with more of our kind, or something. I don't know. I'm not good at being the cackling maniacal. Bad guy, we win! Drones for life.
Eradicator destroyed. Situation critical.
The Zerg have overrun the sublevel. You're lucky no one was killed, Kerrigan.
Luck had nothing to do with it. And maybe now, you understand how dangerous the Zerg are. I'll send them back to their pens.
I appreciate that. I'm opening your cell right now, if you'd like to join me. And perhaps next time you can make your point without destroying half the facility.
Yeah, the Zerglings are like, we did it, guys! Yeah! Less than 10 minutes. Destroy the sentry bots. Whatever. Those are easy achievements. What time is it now? Okay. I really should be going to bed. I don't want to go to bed. I want to keep playing. That's the sign of a good game, right? Yeah, let's I'm gonna go to bed, guys. As much as I want to keep
Ship
going.
is prepped and we're ready to go.
Let's bow out. So guys, tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Heart of the Swarm, and of course the idea is to complete Heart of the Swarm tomorrow. I've got tons to talk about Amon, about Duran, about Stukov Hoyt, about Abathur, about Essence. Oh, excuse me, Essence. And I hope you'll join me for it. So I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Legacy of the Void, hoit!